It's unlocked. Let's go.
Why did I agree to this?
Hey, you owe me one, remember?
Yeah. Let's just get this over with. Hey, the lights are on. You didn't tell me somebody was home.
What, are you afraid?
And you're not?
Shh, come on, we're almost there. Be careful, watch your step.
More like watch your life. Why is every door just unlocked?
Whoa, this place is so creepy.
You're just now realizing that?
Come on, it's gotta be this way.
And what exactly are we looking for again?
I've told you 100 times, a true successor to Diablo II.
Please don't go down there. And he's gone. Jack, I don't think we should be in here.
Shh, it's gotta be here somewhere.
Oh, this for Diablo 2?
Look, this might be it. Diablo 2's true successor.
In the shadowed halls of Blizzard North, amidst the clatter of keyboards and the hum of computers, a fellowship of visionaries embarked upon a journey that would change the course of gaming history forever. They were no mere developers, but creators of worlds, master builders of lore, gameplay, and design. And from the sweat of their brows and the spark of their imaginations, Diablo was born. Blizzard North, originally known as Condor Inc., was the brainchild of David Brevik and brothers Max and Eric Schaefer. United by Brevik's vision of a Dungeons & Dragons-inspired roguelike dungeon crawler, they founded Condor in 1993 in Redwood, California. Their fledgling studio gained traction quickly, fueled by their ambition to create a dark and immersive world. It wasn't long before their passion project caught the eye of Blizzard Entertainment, which saw this untapped potential in their vision.
Now, united in arms with new allies against a common foe, mankind stands at the shores of destiny and awaits the coming of the Tides of Darkness.
The year was 1996. The gaming world was still in its formative years, with players enamored by pixelated adventures and blocky heroes. But change was in the wind. Davidson and Associates, an American educational software developer, acquired Condor and rebranded it as Blizzard North. Despite the corporate restructuring, the studio retained its independence, a decision that preserved the creative spark that would define their work. Their first major project would begin with just 17 employees and a budget of $300,000. And when Diablo emerged just 9 months after the acquisition, it did so with the force of a thunderclap.
What force wrought this destruction? Mother, father, slain as they sleep. The town has the stench of death and demons upon it. By their souls, I swear vengeance on these creatures of the underworld. Diablo, enter if you dare.
Diablo became a huge success, drawing in players into its dark, immersive dungeon crawl.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
It offered a masterful blend of addictive gameplay mechanics and a foreboding atmosphere that told of a world teetering on the brink of damnation. The game transported players into a tale of horror and heroism, defining what was possible in an action RPG.
fresh meat.
The spirits of the dead are now avenged.
Diablo was merely the beginning, and the success of the original game would carry on to plant the seed for something even greater. A project that would not only build upon the foundation of the first game, but would redefine the genre and elevate the action RPG to new heights. They wanted to expand the dark, gothic world of Diablo, introducing players to more classes, characters,
Over here.
vast new regions, an intricate storyline, and deeper gameplay mechanics. This meant not only enhancing the core gameplay loop of slaying monsters and collecting loot, but also creating a living, breathing world that felt both immersive and alive. As Blizzard North's reputation soared, so too did expectations. The success of the original Diablo had set a high standard for the studio, and with the world watching, the team at Blizzard North knew they needed to deliver something truly extraordinary. With the acquisition by Blizzard Entertainment, they now had the resources to realize that vision. But despite the promise of bigger budgets and greater tools, the question remained: could they craft a sequel worthy of the legacy that they had begun? The journey would be perilous, but for these visionaries the challenge was clear. The future of Diablo would be written not by the shadows of its predecessor, but by the bold new darkness they would create. Just a 45-minute drive from Blizzard Entertainment's headquarters in Irvine, California, an ordinary boy in Moreno Valley lived his life unaware of the extraordinary journey that awaited him. Like any normal kid in the 90s, he loved collecting Pokemon, playing Nintendo 64, or watching Saturday morning cartoons. Little did he know, however, his life was about to change forever when an unexpected family would move into the neighborhood. Bright-eyed and curious, the young boy quickly befriended the new kids on the block, unaware that this was the start of a lifelong friendship, and even more, the spark of an everlasting hobby. This boy was me. This family was a bit different. They weren't into sports or outdoor activities. In fact, they didn't come outside much at all. The dad worked for an IT company repairing computers, and the mom stayed home with the kids. Despite most families back then being lucky enough to have one computer, this family had 5. They played games like Dungeons & Dragons and Magic the Gathering, or Baldur's Gate and Warcraft 1 on the PC, and all I knew then was that I wanted to be a part of it. I became addicted to the world of PC gaming and all things fantasy because of them, and I quickly found myself going over to their house every single day to play on their computers. And then, one fateful day, it finally happened. Their dad came home with a new game. A game that would keep us up for hours on end in their cold garage, slaying demons and hunting uniques, playing the infectious, grotesque, and oh so addicting Diablo II. That very Christmas, my mom would purchase the Diablo II exclusive gift set for me that I still have to this day. I vividly remember tearing the gift wrap off the box, my aunt at the time telling my mom,
Are you sure you want him playing that? Diablo is Spanish for devil.
she just didn't understand. You don't become the devil, you kill him, I said. And that, ladies and gentlemen, would be the start of a journey with my favorite game of all time.
Beyond the darkness lies a journey that will test your courage and consume your world. Diablo 2. Evil has survived. Rated M for mature. Play it now on PC and Macintosh.
As the haunting melody of the title screen builds, only 5 heroes stood before you, ready to face the growing darkness that plagued Sanctuary, each offering a unique path to salvation. The Amazon, master of bow and spear, whose precise strikes could fell demons from afar. The Necromancer, commander of the dead, whose dark arts turned the enemies fallen against them. The Barbarian, whose raw strength and battle cry struck fear into the hearts of evil. The Sorceress, wielding elemental fury, whose powerful spells reshaped the battlefield. And the Paladin, wrapped in holy fervor, whose righteous aura and hammer brought hope to the faithful. The hand of my former self gravitated towards the barbarian without hesitation. Something about his raw strength and warrior spirit just called to me, along with the large two-handed axe promising a visceral thrill of diving headfirst into battle. And as the character select screen faded to black, I had no idea of the epic journey that awaited me in the wilderness beyond. In the darkest hour before dawn, you find yourself within the weathered walls of the rogue encampment. As you gain your bearings, you hear the crackling of a torch nearby, its flickering flame casting shadows upon the rain-soaked pasture. The camp's gaudy tents provide only modest refuge from the hammering rain, while towering wooden palisades rise against the darkness like skeletal fingers, offering little comfort against the unseen horrors that lurk just beyond. A melancholic tune drifts through the air, its haunting strings foreshadowing the ominous uncertainty that awaits. And with a single voice, everything is set into motion.
Good day.
Warren, the seasoned caravan master, who has crossed the treacherous deserts of Aranok for over 20 years, more times than most dare to count.
Greetings, stranger. I'm not surprised to see your kind here.
Only the most robust and highly trained nomad survived longer than a few hours in the scorching deserts, and his knowledge would prove invaluable in the journey ahead. Within these walls dwelled 5 other survivors, each bearing their own burden in these dark times. Akara, High Priestess of the Sisterhood of the Sightless Eye, whose high wisdom guides the faithful through shadow.
I am Akara, High Priestess of the Sisterhood of the Sightless Eye. I welcome you, traveler, to our camp, but I'm afraid I can offer you but poor shelter within these rickety walls.
At her forge labors optimistic Charcy, the Smith Maiden, whose hammer rings with undimmed hope.
Wow, you're a barbarian, huh? It's really great to meet you. I've seen a few of your kind around here lately. I'm a little jealous. I wish I could go off adventuring with you. Oh, by the way, I'm Charcy, the blacksmith here in camp.
Geed, the theatrical and opportunistic traveling merchant, who beckons trade with shrewd determination.
Good day to you, partner. I'm Geed, and I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp. A spare weapon, some gold, a small gem is all I want in exchange for the equipment you'll need on whatever quest you might undertake. No, don't be shy. All of my items are guaranteed for life and come with a 2-day warranty.
While Kasha, the fierce field captain of the Sisterhood, fixes her gaze upon the horizon, preparing for the inevitable.
Welcome, Outlander, to our glorious hovel. I know you're here to challenge the evil that's driven us from our ancestral home. But know this, Akara may be our spiritual leader, but I command the rogues in battle. It will take more than just killing a few beasts in the wilderness to earn my trust.
Yet it is Deckard Cain, last of the Haradrim, whose presence speaks most deeply in the gravity of these times. And now his knowledge serves as a guiding light in the darkness.
Deckard Cain, you've got to get out of here. I thank you, friend, for coming to my aid. I could do nothing to prevent the disaster which devastated Tristram. It would appear that our greatest fears have come to pass. Diablo, the Lord of Terror, has once again been set loose upon the world.
His ancient order once sealed away the primevals themselves.
Take heed and bear witness to the truths that lie herein, for they are the last legacy of the Haradrim. The Haradrim was founded by a group of secretive magi to hunt down and capture the 3 evils once and for all. The original Haradrim captured 2 of the 3 within powerful artifacts known as Soul Stones and buried them deep beneath the desolate eastern sands. The 3rd evil escaped capture and fled to the west with many of the Haradrim in pursuit. The 3rd evil, known as Diablo, the Lord of Terror, was eventually captured, his essence set in a soul stone and buried within this labyrinth. If Diablo were to be released, he would seek a body that is easily controlled, as he would be very weak, perhaps that of an old man or a child.
As Deckard Cain once wrote, "For as long as man fears the dark, Diablo will remain the most insidious and, I would argue, the most powerful of all the evils."
I fear even worse, my friend. I fear that Diablo has taken possession of the hero who sought to slay him. If true, Diablo will become more powerful than ever before. You must stop him, or all will be lost.
And now his knowledge serves as a guiding light in the darkness. His iconic plea,
"Stay a while and listen,"
transcended the game itself, becoming a cultural phenomenon and a beloved catchphrase amongst millions of fans.
My name's Deckard Cain, and I come from Tristram. If you're looking for Diablo, then you just missed him.
From these humble beginnings, a legend begins to unfold. Warrior speaks of the path ahead, sweltering deserts, where harsh winds scour flesh from bone. The same path that the Wanderer has taken.
A dark wanderer did travel this route a few weeks ago. He was headed east to the mountain pass guarded by the rogue monastery. I hope to leave for Lut-Gholein before the shadow that fell over Tristram consumes us all.
Marius, the wary and reluctant companion to the Wanderer, had followed him east, leaving a trail of questions as much as chaos.
Why did I follow him? I don't know. Why do things happen as they do in dreams? All I know is that when he beckoned, I had to follow him. And from that moment, we traveled together east. Always into the east.
Together their steps beckon you eastward, into the heart of the unknown.
My companion told me of himself, that he had once been a great warrior, and that a dark and secret burden now weighed heavily upon him. We traveled for an eternity across that arid wasteland. Finally, the journey ended. We climbed the last bridge. There below us lay our destination. The shining jewel, Lut-Gholein, with a great sea beyond. We made camp there last night. Perhaps it was the warm desert wind or the sound of the ocean, but for the first time in many weeks, I slept. However, the dreams returned, but these were clearly not my own. I beheld the vision of a great man, the mage Talrasha.
Now you know what I seek, Marius. This is my brother. Sleep now. We set out with the dawn.
Traveling alongside War's caravan from Act 1 to 2 presented a vivid shift in atmosphere, tone, and gameplay, setting the stage for one of the game's most iconic transitions. Leaving the somber, fog-laden moors of the rogue encampment behind, players were transported to the sun-scorched desert sands of Lut-Gholein, a bustling trade hub brimming with intrigue and peril.
I had no idea then of the horrors that were in store for me there.
This journey also reflected a change in the narrative's tone. In Act 1, the player faced local threats, with the corrupted rogue sisters and Andariel, the Maiden of Anguish.
Die, maggot.
But Act 2 expanded the scope of danger.
Greetings, honored traveler. I am Jaren, Lord of Lut-Gholein.
Plunging players into the hunt for the elusive wanderer
Glad to know that once again, caravans are free
and the sinister machinations of Duriel, the Lord of Pain.
For some time now, we have been under siege by an evil power that I cannot identify. It all began when a dark wanderer came this way, looking for the tomb of Talrasha.
What was left of my sanity implored me not to enter. But that voice was just a whisper now. As we worked our way down, deeper and deeper into the crypt, I began to see a change in my companion. He seemed to be gaining strength. I could hardly see in the gloom, but my companion seemed to know the way. We came at last to a great hall. It was then I realized my companion hadn't been gaining strength. He had been losing what was left of his humanity.
No one knows exactly where Talrasha, Keeper of Baal, is entombed, but it is certain to be far out in the desert.
The shift underscored the growing stakes of the story. What began as a localized corruption was now unraveling into a global crisis.
He moved with demonic speed, and then you appeared.
Stop! The beast contained herein shall not be set free, not even by you.
Now my people whisper tales of the dead rising from their tombs, and horrible creatures lurking amongst the moonlit dunes.
Luke Lane didn't wait long to throw adventurers into the thick of its problems, quite literally. One of the city's first pressing matters was dealing with the infestation in its sewers.
Atma, the tavern keeper, has an important mission for you. Go see her immediately. You'll find her on the other side of town.
I don't expect this of you, but if you want to help me, I would be grateful. In the sewers below us,
where monsters had been lurking for weeks, disrupting the flow of not just water, but Jaren's royal bidet.
Now I must return to the palace. I apologize, but I can't invite you in. Things are rather a mess right now.
You may not pass.
The grimy walls glistened, the stench was palpable, and before any rat or undead appeared, the atmosphere alone was enough to unsettle. It fell upon my barbarian and I to wade through this cesspool labyrinth of Luke Lane's underbelly and restore order, one decaying corpse at a time. It was disgusting, dangerous, and utterly immersive. For my 8-year-old self, this was peak gaming. Act 2 was always my favorite of the original 4 acts.
Somebody's a big boy. Where are you going?
There's something about the desert biome that has always called to me ever since Diablo 2. And it was no coincidence that this was also around the same time that I was obsessed with the 1999 film The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser.
Oh yeah, this just keeps getting better and better.
A true classic, by the way. Shout out to my boy, Ben.
Well. Let me guess. Spring cleaning.
Nice shot. The mysteries of Act 2 unfolded like pages of an ancient tome, each area more enthralling than the last. The lost city in the Claw Viper Temple held dark secrets. Their serpentine inhabitants guarding sacred relics with cold-blooded determination. The Maggot Lair forced warriors to descend through 3 levels of writhing, grotesque tunnels, where the Maggot Queen's children waited in perpetual hunger. Even Jaren's opulent palace harbored sinister secrets. As whispers of evil echoed from Jared's harem. But perhaps the most memorable was the Arcane Sanctuary, where starlit walkways stretched impossible through the void. Reality bent at impossible angles. And otherworldly architecture made every step feel like walking through a madman's dream.
Seekers of the tomb of Tal Rasha will find it through the portal. But know that the glowing glyphs recorded here in my arcane sanctuary are the signs of the 6 false tombs. The missing 7th sign marks the tomb of Tal Rasha.
To step through that gate, Marius. Take the stone you hold to the Hellforge, where it will be destroyed. Now run. Take the stone and run!
What choice did I have? I ran.
I thank
came for my freedom. I am the Archangel Tyrion. I came here to prevent Diablo from freeing his brother Baal, but I have failed. Even now, they head towards the eastern capital of Kurast. There they hope to find their eldest brother, Mephisto, the Lord of Hatred. If the three prime evils unite, they will be invincible. They must be stopped at all costs. You must take up this quest and prevent the three brothers from reuniting. You must cross the sea and search for Diablo and Baal in Kurast. Now, hurry, mortal. Time is running out for all of us.
Greetings. I'm Mashif, captain of this ship here. Jaren tells me I should take you east to Kurast. I haven't been there for several years, but rumor has it things are pretty grim.
And so you set sail with Mashif across the Twin Seas to the festering jungles of Kurast. The very air feels diseased, thick with the scent of rot and decay, as Mashif's ship rocks gently against its moorings.
Being a barbarian, I'm sure you've seen many strange sights in the Northlands. I wish I'd never returned to this accursed place. This fetid jungle can't be the fair Kurast I left behind.
Once the heart of a mighty empire, Kurast stood as a beacon of civilization, a paradise of golden perfumed palaces where splendor reigned eternal. As capital of the Zakarum faith, its high towers gleamed in bronze light, while spice-laden merchants filled its stone boulevards, and pilgrims journeyed from distant lands to bask in its splendor. The people of Kurast truly believed their city was the center of the world, its wondrous achievements a testament to human greatness. Now nothing more than a decaying husk of its former glory.
I don't know what all this evil is, my friend, but it's obvious that you must stop it. I only pray that you can before the jungle consumes the last vestiges of my beloved homeland.
Amidst the rotting remnants of civilization, a small enclave of survivors cling to humanity.
Welcome to Kurast, traveler. Few come willingly to this ancient city anymore. I hope you brought your wits with you, for sanity is in short supply here. My name is Ratli. As you can see, the populace has been brutally decimated by the forces of Mephisto. The canals run red with blood, and demons roam the land. A wretched jungle hell has already reclaimed much of Kurast. The only safety you'll find is here at the dockside, where a magical warning holds the jungle evils at bay. But I don't know how long it will last. To make matters worse, the children of Zakarum are in league with the forces of Mephisto. The Zakarum have concentrated their power in the temple city of Travancore, located within Kurast deep in the jungle wilderness. It's true, their zeal is unmatched, but I say the so-called warriors of light are nothing more than the twisted puppets of a hidden hand.
The mysterious Ormus speaks in cryptic riddles.
You now speak to Ormus. He was once a great mage, but now lives like a rat in a sinking vessel.
A familiar face lends you slight comfort.
Good day. Ormus would like you to think him mad. Better to watch his actions than listen to his words. I've not set foot in glorious Kurast for many years, but I never would have imagined it could be so corrupted. Certainly this must be Mephisto's work. You'd best get going, my friend. Diablo and Baal are still out there, and you must find them.
While some of the townsfolk would rather be left alone.
Damn it! I wish you people would just leave me alone. Oh, you're new here, aren't you? I am Alcor the Alchemist. I dabble in potions and salves, and I can sell you some if you really need them. But don't make a habit of coming here. I don't like to be disturbed while I'm studying.
Ashira and her Iron Wolves stand vigilant, their mercenary band providing what little protection they can against the terrors that stalk the jungle's depths.
Hello there. You must be a great adventurer to risk coming here. My name's Ashira, and I lead the mercenary band of mages known as the Iron Wolves. Rumor has it that you've come here to help. If that's true, then I'll let you hire some of my mercenaries.
Mephisto's corruption festers here, warping both land and beast alike. But it is the haunting vision of the Dark Wanderer, Baal's cruel illusion just beyond the city, that signals the true horror awaiting in this fallen metropolis. To reach the source of this evil, you must carve your way through the jungle's horrors. The Spider Forest. A tangled nightmare of silk-wrapped corpses and giant skittering arachnids. The Flare Jungle, arguably worse, seething with frenzied demons, small, shrieking beasts that swarm with disturbing intelligence. Every battle in this place feels feverish, as if the very land itself resents the presence of the uncorrupt. Your journey through Kuros reveals the city's tragic fall through its very geography. In Lower Kuros, dilapidated hovels of the poor stand exposed to the elements, seemingly abandoned overnight by its occupants, while dark shapes flit amongst the shadows. The Kuros Bazaar, once a bustling center of commerce, has devolved into a mockery of its former self. Bloated fly swords feast on the remnants of civilization, while defiled temples dot the landscape, their sacred halls now echoing with unholy malevolence.
Found the book. It should give all of us here some insight into the nature of the prime evils. Ah, but as for you, just leave me alone.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Above lies Upper Kuros, where the city's fortunate once dwelled in luxury, stands as a testament to how far the mighty can fall. Grand mansions rot from within, their elaborate gardens overtaken by thorn vines and poisonous growth, pulsing with evil. And at last, you arrive at Travancore, the grand temple city originally constructed by the Horadrim themselves. These ancient halls, once revered for safeguarding sacred artifacts and timeless wisdom, now serve as the corrupted stronghold of the Zakarum faith. In the desecrated courtyards, the fallen High Council members patrol their ruined domains, twisted by the very darkness they once vowed to oppose. After defeating the High Council, it is here, beneath the ruined temples of Travancore, that the true source of this evil is revealed. The durance of hate lies before you, a cavernous descent into madness. Crimson torches cast flickering shadows upon walls slick with blood, as if the stone itself weeps for what it has witnessed here.
I did as you told me, Tyrael. I found the temple of the Zakarum. In the deepest recesses of the temple, I found a dark gathering. My companion, the Wanderer, Talrasha, and a great evil who could only be the Lord of Hatred himself, Mephisto. I heard a voice that, like 1,000 needles in my heart.
My brothers, at long last we stand reunited. The infernal gate has been prepared, and the time of our final victory is at hand. Let the way to hell be opened. And the evil that was once vanquished shall rise anew. Wrapped in the guise of man shall he walk amongst the innocent, and terror shall consume they that dwell upon the earth. The skies shall rain fire, and the seas will become as blood. The righteous shall fall before the wicked, and all creation shall tremble before the burning standards of hell. What I saw then was not meant for mortal eyes. The gate stands ready. Now, my young brother, the time has come to assume your true form. Arise, Diablo, Lord of Terror. You are the harbinger of our return, Diablo. Send forth your terror into hell.
Diablo slips through your fingers once more, but Mephisto, the Lord of Hatred, awaits you. His presence is suffocating as his laughter echoes through the chambers, mocking your efforts. With the Soul Stone of Mephisto in hand, there is but one road left to travel. Through the portal to the gates of hell itself. The portal opens not to another distant land, but to the very edge of existence. The Pandemonium Fortress stands defiant against the black abyss, its towering spires scraping the sky like the last hope of a dying world. The air is unnaturally still here, heavy with the echoes of battles fought long before mortal memory. A place where angels and demons once clashed in eternal struggle. It is the last bastion against the tide of hell.
Can you believe this place? Did you ever dare to dream that you'd one day stand upon the crossroads between heaven and hell? This Pandemonium Fortress is truly miraculous. However, your journey is not yet over. Diablo still roams free in hell, marshaling his demonic forces. Only when he is beaten will our world finally have peace. Hurry now. The sands of time slow for no one.
It is good to see you again, hero. Mephisto's defeat is a great victory for the light. I knew that you would eventually find your way here. The Pandemonium Fortress is the last bastion of heaven's power before the gates of the burning hells. This place has been hallowed by the blood of thousands of champions of the light, many of whom were mortal like yourself. Now, the final battle against the prime evil draws near. You must face it alone. I have been forbidden to aid you directly, save for a few bits of wisdom. For this is the hour of mortal man's triumph. Your triumph. May the light protect you and the powers of heaven shine upon your path.
But there is no time to linger. Beyond the fortress, the wastelands of hell stretch endlessly, a scorched and broken plain where rivers of fire carve their way through jagged obsidian.
Greetings.
What do you need?
Standing at the precipice of an ancient narrow stairway, you gaze into the maw of darkness just below. There is no hesitation now. The fate of humanity rests upon your shoulders, and the path ahead is yours to walk alone. And so you descend into the ravaged domains of hell. The last warmth of the Pandemonium Fortress falls away behind you like a discarded cloak. The outer steps unfold before you, a testament to corruption absolute. Vast chasms split the blackened earth, fiery lava pits of pain and suffering. How hordes of hell's children roam these desolate lands, reveling within their pure evil. You press onward to the plains of despair, where you will encounter Israel, a once proud lieutenant of the high heaven. His fate serves as a grim reminder of hell's corrupting touch, now a twisted puppet whose mind serves as a pawn for evil. Tyrael's whispered plea for mercy echoes in your mind.
May you free this fallen angel from his eternal prison.
Tyrael was a fool to have trusted me. You see, it was I who told Diablo and his brothers about the Soul Stones and how to corrupt them. It was I who helped the Prime Evils mastermind their own exile to your world. The plan we set in motion so long ago cannot be stopped by any mortal agency. Hell itself is poised to spill forth into your world like a tidal wave of blood and nightmares. You and all your kind are doomed.
Thank you, hero,
for putting Israel's tortured spirit to rest. May the light protect you and the powers of heaven shine upon your path. But if what you tell me is true, then I fear that we have been played for fools all along. Israel helped Diablo and his brothers trick me into using the Soul Stones against them. Now the stones' powers are corrupted. With the combined powers of the Soul Stones under their control, the prime evils will be able to turn the mortal world into a permanent outpost of hell.
You then find yourself in a river of flame. Hadriel stands at his eternal watch, with but one final task.
Halt! Before venturing into Diablo's lair, go to the Hellforge with Mephisto's Soul Stone. Place the stone on the Hellforge, and use the Hellforge hammer to destroy it.
You reach the Hellforge amidst the anvil of creation itself. Mephisto's Soul Stone must be destroyed.
Proceed, hero, into Terror's lair. Know that Diablo's innermost sanctum is hidden by 5 seals. Only by opening each of these seals can you clear your way to the final battle.
And there, beyond the wasteland, lies the Chaos Sanctuary. There's no place in all of Sanctuary more fitting of its name. Hellfire and ruin, its architecture is madness given form. Impossibly sharp spires that twist against the sky, corridors that bleed light from places unknown. It is a domain crafted by Diablo's own hand, a manifestation of his will, where time and space distort under his dominion. The battle here is not just against the forces of hell, it is against despair itself. Demonic seals litter the chamber, each one binding a greater evil, each one a test of endurance and will. The Vizier, the Infector, and the Grand Duke. All of them mere gatekeepers, standing between you and the true horror that lies at the heart of this twisted sanctum.
And then, from the very depths of the abyss, Diablo, the Lord of Terror. Thanks.
Thank you.
Abandon hope!
suffering would be too brief for you, Diablo.
And when Diablo falls, when the infernal chains of hell finally shatter, there is no moment of triumph, only silence. For the journey was not over.
So, Marius, at last I find you.
Tyrael, yes. Yes, now I recognize you. I should have known you'd travel in disguise. They're always watching.
I've been searching for you for a long time, Marius. I was rather beginning to think you didn't want to be found.
Oh, forgive me, Tyrael, please. It wasn't my fault.
Not your fault. Tell me, Marius, how was it not your fault?
The Wanderer. Yes, it was the Wanderer. Soulstone were destroyed in Hellforge. All except one.
Oh, I failed, Tyrael. I couldn't do as you asked. I couldn't enter that gate. Forgive me, Tyrael. Forgive me.
Marius, give me the stone, and all is forgiven. Give it to me, Marius.
Take it. Take it, take it. I'm glad this is finally over, Tyrael. Look what the stone has done to me.
You haven't failed, old man. You've done exactly as you were meant to do. However, I am not the Archangel Tyrael.
There. No. No, no, no.
You have done well, Marius. Now I think you shall have your reward.
What have I done to deserve it?
With the release of the Lord of Destruction expansion, Blizzard North unveiled Act 5, a final chapter set against icy battlegrounds that beckoned heroes to the sacred peaks of Mount Arreat. Here, amid the howling winds and eternal snows, the very foundation of Sanctuary itself hung in the balance. Your journey continues in Harrogath, a fortress city clinging to survival against Baal's relentless siege. The air was thick with the scent of burning wood and blood-soaked snow as the barbarian defenders fought to hold their ancestral home.
Hail! The gates of Secheron have stood for eons beyond remembrance, and you shall not breach them now. Remove your foul demons from our lands. We stand on the side of light. You shall not be allowed to reach Mount Ariat, and that which you seek will not be yours.
I shall take your position into consideration. Well, it seems your terms are not acceptable.
Within the town's walls, the last remnants of resistance remain. Mala was the first to greet you. As a fellow child of Mount Ariat, she welcomes you home.
You have traveled far, only to return home to us, barbarian. Oh, much has happened in Haraga since you left. Our homeland is hardly recognizable with so much evil about. Baal has laid waste to our mountains. If you need healing or a potion, please come to me. See Larzuk for weapons, armor, and repairs. Nilithok, despite his disposition, may be of some assistance with other wares. Finally, Qualkek, our man-at-arms, leads Haragath's remaining forces against Baal.
I am amazed to find this place so untouched. Everything else in the path of Baal, the Lord of Destruction, lies in ruin. These barbarians must indeed be the legendary guardians of Mount Ariat. Perhaps I can gain their trust. I'll spend some time with the townsfolk and try to understand them better. I'll let you know what I discover.
I am Qualkek, the senior man-at-arms of Haragath. You have the look of a warrior. An extra soldier will be useful, but don't expect anyone to mourn if you get yourself killed. Baal is true to his namesake. He has ravaged through our lands like a merciless plague. The protective ward laid down by our lost elders helps hold the evil at bay. But Baal's siege has taken its toll all the same. Most of my men are now dead. Others are trapped in the mountain passes. But I swear we are not beaten yet. We will fight to the end to protect this mountain.
Yet not all within Haragath could be trusted.
Well, well. The siege has everything in short supply, except fools. Why would you seek this place, stranger? Are you a vulture come to loot the bodies of our fallen warriors? Regardless, this is no place to make a name for yourself. The mountain is ours to protect. It is only a matter of time before Hell's legions are routed.
A man consumed by cowardice and deceit, harbored his own dark schemes.
I am Larzik, the armorer. My ancestors were some of the finest craftsmen in Herogath. Regretfully, my supplies run lower with every passing day, yet the demons beyond the walls have not weakened. I fear the time is near when I must put down my hammer and take up a sword instead.
Beyond the safety of the fortress lies a frozen hellscape. The Bloody Foothills, aptly named, as the ground was forever stained by the ceaseless clash of steel and flesh. The frigid highlands in Ariat Plateau tested the endurance of even the most seasoned warriors.
Let us out! Follow me.
Blizzards howled like the ghosts of fallen heroes, and demonic war machines rained destruction upon the land.
Follow me.
Delving deep enough into the icy caverns of the crystalline passage would reveal a sinister scheme hidden deep beneath a frozen river.
This is nice.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where those treetops listen and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow, the snow.
Hero, Neelathak did this to me. If you've come to help me, my only hope lies with Mala. Please, tell her you've found me.
So, that snake Neelathak was behind Anya's disappearance, and he trapped her with a freezing curse. Here, take this potion to Anya and give it to her. That should release her.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hero, for rescuing me. Neelathak told me he struck a deal with Baal to protect Herogath. In exchange for the demon's mercy, the misguided fool plans to give Baal the relic of the ancients, our most holy totem. Doing so will allow Baal to enter Mount Ariat unchallenged by the ancients. I tried to stop Neelathak, but he imprisoned me in that icy tomb. Neelathak must be stopped before he dooms the whole world. You must go to his lair through this portal I've opened, kill him, and then bring back the relic of the ancients. Stop Neelathak from destroying what we have striven for eons to protect.
A coward
God's hiding place.
Come on.
Deep within the mountain, halls of pain and anguish bore witness to centuries of torment as Baal's influence seeped into the very stone.
A fitting death for a traitor.
You have stopped Nilathok, but he didn't have the relic. He must have already given it to Baal. Now Baal will not be tested when he reaches Ariat's summit. Damn Nilathok. I do thank you for trying, though.
And at the mountain's peak, a rite of passage awaited. The Ancients, spirits of the greatest barbarian warriors to ever walk Sanctuary, stood as the final guardians of the Worldstone Keep.
We are the spirits of the Nephilim, the Ancient Ones. We have been chosen to guard sacred Mount Ariat, wherein the Worldstone rests. Few are worthy to stand in his presence. Fewer still can comprehend his true purpose. Before you enter, you must defeat us.
Only those deemed worthy could proceed. A fight against the very legends of Ariat's past.
The time has come to cleanse my homeland.
With their blessing, the final descent in the Worldstone Chamber began.
The halls of the ancients. Magnificent.
The chamber was a place of power beyond mortal comprehension, where reality itself seemed to tremble under Baal's presence. The Lord of Destruction stood before the Worldstone, his corruption twisting its radiant glow into something sickly and vile. Spells clashed, steel met flesh, and the fate of Sanctuary teetered on the edge of existence.
My brothers will not have died in vain.
But in the end, Baal would fall.
I am impressed, Morgan. You have overcome the greatest challenge this world has ever faced and defeated the last of the primevals. However, we are too late to save the World Stone. Baal's destructive touch has corrupted it completely. Given enough time, the World Stone's energies will drain away, and the barriers between the worlds will shatter. The powers of hell will flood into this sanctuary and eradicate your people and everything you've labored to build. Therefore, I must destroy the corrupted World Stone before the powers of hell take root. This act will change your world forever, with consequences even I cannot foresee. However, it is the only way to ensure mankind's survival. Go now, mortal. I have opened a portal that will lead you to safety. May the eternal light shine upon you and your descendants for what you've done this day. The continued survival of mankind is your legacy. Above all else, you have earned a rest from this endless battle.
Yet victory came at a cost. The World Stone, used to shape Sanctuary and later regulate humanity's power, or in this world, Nephilim. Baal's corruption would have enslaved the Nephilim, or humanity, forging an unstoppable army to crush the high heavens. The Primeval's plans had been a ploy to reach this moment all along, forcing the Primevals into mortal forms, allowing one of them to finally touch and twist the World Stone. Tyrael saw the consequences. Sanctuary would no longer be hidden. The Nephilim would eventually regain their powers, and the eternal balance would shift. But the alternative, a world forever bound to hell, was far worse. With one final earth-shattering strike, Tyrael shattered the World Stone, its fragments scattering like embers into the void. This act destroyed him, though he would return, and ushered in a new age of open conflict, where Sanctuary would stand unhidden between heaven and hell. The expansion didn't just conclude the story, it elevated the entire Diablo II experience. New heroes arose in the form of the Assassin, whose shadowy arts brought swift death, and the Druid, whose primal connection to nature unleashed fury both savage and wild, each bringing unique approaches to combat. There was the introduction of rune words, charms and new uniques, adding layers of customization to itemization. And I think it's safe to say that we'll always remember our first Enigma. These additions transformed an already exceptional game into something truly legendary. In this way, Act 5 served as both a fitting epilogue and a magnificent crescendo to the Diablo II saga. It expanded the boundaries of both sanctuary and gameplay possibilities while bringing the story to a dramatic conclusion. The memories forged in the frozen peaks of Mount Ariyat would cement Diablo II's place, not just as a game, but as a masterpiece in gaming history. More than 2 decades after its release, Diablo II stands as a testament to timeless game design. Its influence shaped the entire ARPG genre and echoes through the chambers of modern gaming in both ways obvious and subtle. This legacy began with humble origins. Battle.net, a matchmaking service literally running on a single PC under a desk somewhere at Blizzard headquarters. Built alongside Diablo's development as a free service, it was essentially a sophisticated chat room that connected players through peer-to-peer networking. This simple yet effective system could support hundreds of thousands of players simultaneously, making online gaming accessible at a time when most services charge fees. With Diablo II, Battle.net evolved to introduce account systems and server-side character storage, creating a more secure and social gaming experience. Blizzard's official Battle.net servers have continued to remain active all these years, hosting thousands of players who return every 3 months or so for new ladder seasons, racing each other to level 99, and proving that the eternal struggle for Sanctuary continues to captivate both veterans and newcomers alike. Adventurers from around the world weren't just battling demons. They were forging alliances, trading hard-earned loot, and breathing life into a digital world that felt alive as much as the real one. Battle.net became more than a matchmaking service. It was the beating heart of the game's longevity, a place where friendships, rivalries, and legends were born. From its humble beginnings as a peer-to-peer service on our Blizzard desk to a platform that connected thousands across the world, Battle.net became the foundation for Diablo II's thriving online community. But not everyone logged in just to grind XP or hunt for loot. In the early days of Diablo II, an underground dueling scene thrived on Battle.net, a gathering of players with absurdly optimized gear testing their builds against each other, where only the strongest survived. Today, they'd call it PvP, but back then it was called PK, which stood for player kill. Anyone that had the courage to step foot outside the rogue encampment was usually met with a worthy adversary. Yet even decades later, the hunt for perfection hasn't faded. Today, perfectly rolled runewords and ethereal weapons still command staggering prices, with some selling for thousands of dollars on third-party marketplaces. One particularly rare item reportedly fetched $17,000, proving that for some, the pursuit of digital perfection in Diablo II is as intense as ever. The game's enduring appeal lies not only in its systems or community, but in the rituals it inspired. Magic Find, or MF, sits at the heart of Diablo II's longevity. Targeting specific bosses like Indariel gave players hope of finding that perfect unique item. Every time a player chases perfect rolls on items or pushes the limits of a new meta build, they're speaking a language that Diablo II codified. Its itemization introduced the thrill of finding that perfect drop, not just powerful, but transformative to an entire playstyle. But even as official servers carried the game forward, it was the dedication of the players that truly kept its spirit alive. Fan-driven projects like Median XL, Path of Diablo, and Project Diablo II have taken this legacy even further, evolving the game with new classes, items, and seasonal content, while preserving the essence that made the game great. But then, after years of speculation, Blizzard finally brought Diablo II back into the spotlight themselves, announcing Diablo II Resurrected. Which launched in 2021. This was more than just a remaster, it was a homecoming. For veterans, it offered a chance to relive the magic. For newcomers, it was an opportunity to experience firsthand why Diablo II is celebrated as one of the greatest games of all time. The remaster proved that beneath its dated graphics lay a game design so fundamentally sound that it required no modernization, just a fresh coat of paint to let its brilliance shine anew. Even today, as gaming evolves, developers regard Diablo II as a lodestone, a game that demonstrated what was truly possible. Its influence echoes through everything from the oppressive atmosphere of Dark Souls.
Well, what do we have here? You must be a new arrival.
To the intricate build systems of Path of Exile. Ultimately, Diablo II's legacy isn't that it was just a great game. It's that it redefined what games could be. That online gaming could foster genuine communities. And that gothic horror could be both sophisticated and visceral. Every time we chase that perfect item roll, theorycraft a new build, or come together online to overcome challenges, we pay homage to the game that showed us the way. Diablo II wasn't just a game. It was the blueprint for an entire genre, and even today, its fire still burns in the hearts of those who answered the call to Sanctuary.
It has been said. That in the end of all things, we would find a new beginning.
Upon Diablo III's release, like many who grew up playing its predecessor, I found myself standing in an unfamiliar world. Everything I had grown to love about Diablo II seemed to have been reimagined. The familiar Battle.net lobbies, the gothic tone and atmosphere, even the household names of our favorite uniques that we'd spent countless hours hunting, all gone, replaced by something that felt out of touch. I remember thinking, why didn't they just expand on what we already loved? A perfect and beloved blueprint stood right in front of their faces, yet they chose to go in a completely different direction. Since then, players have wandered through the ARPG genre, searching for that elusive combination of atmosphere, gameplay, itemization, and more that made Diablo II so special. The gaming landscape that followed became a treasure hunt for that elusive D2 feeling. Each new release brought promises of recapturing that magic, but something always felt missing. And maybe that's partly because we're chasing something that can't quite be replicated. Not because it's impossible to make a better game than Diablo II, but because of when it existed in gaming history. See, back then it wasn't just another ARPG, it was the ARPG. When Diablo II was at its peak, our options were pretty limited. And that scarcity made every moment feel much more impactful. These days we have way more choices to choose from, with even more on the horizon, including upcoming titles like Dragon Kid and the Banished, Titan Quest II, and Project Pantheon. The ARPG genre has evolved dramatically, and in many ways modern games have made vast improvements over what Diablo II offered. Yet somehow, Diablo II remains at the heart of it all, the blueprint that inspired an entire genre even as new games push far beyond its original boundaries. From the war-torn realms of Cairn and Grim Dawn, to Path of Exile's dark and unforgiving raid class, to the whimsical worlds of Torchlight, the mythological depths of Hades.
Well, time to go get killed again.
And right through Diablo III, Diablo IV, and even Last Epoch. Each brought something slightly unique to the table. Diablo 4 in some regards came close with its darker graphics and gothic atmosphere. Yet, that ineffable Diablo 2 magic continued to remain just out of reach. Which brings me to ask the question, has Diablo 2 found a worthy successor? Some would argue that Path of Exile 1 already earned that title, while others believe in Diablo 4 as the rightful heir. But what about Path of Exile 2? This may raise some eyebrows, but in my opinion, Path of Exile 2 is undeniably Diablo-like. And despite the infamous Rod Ferguson tweet, this is meant completely as a form of praise. Even in its early access state, Path of Exile 2 presents an experience that, in many ways, feels like it could be the closest spiritual successor to Diablo 2 that we've seen yet. It's surprising just how much Path of Exile 2 does emulate Diablo 2, even decades later. Though it comes with obvious upgrades and changes, the core feels remarkably familiar, sometimes to a fault, like with the limited inventory space that seems to exist purely for nostalgia's sake. Being in early access, Path of Exile 2 is far from its final form. It is far from perfect. Many players have voiced that the endgame feels unpolished, the trading system can be frustrating, and crafting often resembles gambling more than a deliberate process. However, I firmly believe that Grinding Gear Games has crafted something exceptional here. The game already captures that classic ARPG essence in all the right ways. It has a dark, oppressive atmosphere, foreboding soundtracks, compelling voice acting and story.
This interloper has the power we need. Kill him.
No noose this time. I'll remove your head myself. You are nothing but a tyrant. Bend the knee.
Engaging boss fights. Thoughtfully designed UI. And a solid foundation for itemization that all show great potential. While there's still a long road ahead in refining and balancing the experience, the foundation is remarkably strong. But what I took notice of most was the familiar rhythm of the journey itself. I began noticing the parallel paths between these two games. Act 1's foreboding forests, Act 2's merciless deserts, and Act 3's treacherous jungles. Except this time, instead of pursuing the corrupted wanderer, we're on the trail for the beast.
Yes, more. Don't stop. The beast hungers. Horrific. They're insane.
Now I know what some of you may be thinking. What about the gameplay mechanics and systems? Path of Exile is much more sophisticated than Diablo, and in ways this is true. After over 20 years, you'd hope that'd be the case. Yet Diablo 2's itemization, for example, is still to this day possibly the best to ever do it. And sure, Path of Exile has very intricate and well-polished systems with its own itemization as well. But that's taken Grinding Gear Games years of evolution to accomplish. But I'd like to refer to the way a game pulls you in, makes you feel, not just the min-maxing of your character's build and gear, but the game's atmosphere and environment, immersive voice acting and compelling narrative.
East, so east we shall go. It seems fate conspires to return me to the plains of Vastiri.
The details we often take for granted. Path of Exile 2 carries the familiar haunting pulse that made Diablo 2 a defining masterpiece. And though I don't think there will ever be a game that can truly replace Diablo 2 in our hearts, in my opinion, Grinding Gear Games is the closest any game studio has come to crafting a true successor, forging a bridge between the past and the future. Perhaps there isn't meant to be just one heir to the throne, but rather a collection of games that each carry forward different aspects of Diablo 2's legacy. Some players will find that PoE 2 scratches that nostalgic itch in ways that no other game has, while others may feel that there's still something missing. One thing's for certain, Path of Exile 2 is both an homage and a bold step forward, proving that the ARPG genre is alive, evolving, and full of promise. We might finally be witnessing something truly special, a game that doesn't just emulate the past, but inspires what's to come.
Stop the madness, as you wish.
But even as new games rise to claim the throne, Diablo 2 remains the foundation upon which they are built. Passed down from one generation of gamers to the next, a world where we never truly leave it behind, no matter how many years pass. And as long as there are those who still return to Tristram, those who still stay a while and listen, or feel the rush of slaying Diablo himself, the lobbies will never empty, the fires of hell will always rage, and the heroes of old will always answer the call to Sanctuary. Thanks for watching.
It's finally over.
Yeah.
4 weeks. 4 weeks. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro weeks. I don't know Spanish. 4 weeks of non-stop work on this project. I vastly underestimated just how long this project would take me. 4 weeks ago, I set out to make a nostalgic Diablo 2 video that was supposed to be a mini passion project, roughly 20 to 25 minutes long. It was briefly going to include Act 1 and 2, and then I was going to basically summarize the rest of the acts in a single paragraph and then close the video out with some discussion. And, well, now somehow it's evolved into this. And 4 weeks ago, I had some good momentum going on the channel. I had everybody subscribing to me for Path of Exile 2 content. Things were going well. And then I was like, well, let me just make this little Path of Exile 2 / Diablo 2 mashup video and everything will be great. I'll be done in a week or so. Well, it might have looked like I was MIA, but your boy was basically at this computer at this desk every single day for 4 weeks, 12 hours a day, 350 hours have gone into this video. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, I almost didn't upload it for a minute. I thought, you know, I have a little imposter syndrome going on. Is it even worthy of upload? Should I even upload it? It's not that good of a video. And obviously, after all of that hard work, I couldn't not upload the video, right? Oh, I got a mullet now, by the way. Isn't that special, huh? 4 weeks go by, a lot can happen. So, you know that moment when you're so deep into something that turning back really isn't an option? Well, that's what happened to me in this video. When I got to the end of Act 2, the pacing just got completely destroyed with my original idea. I did Act 2 the way I did it in the video, and then 3, 4, and 5 were just going to be summarized in a single paragraph. And I started thinking to myself, what if somebody was watching that and they're like, man, he just did Act 2 like that. What about 3, 4, and 5? You know, maybe 4 is your favorite act and you wanted to see me do what I did for Act 2 and 3, 4, and 5. So what did I end up doing? The entire story. You can't just stop at the desert, right? You got to go through the whole thing. I mean, that would be like leaving the theaters halfway through Lord of the Rings. It just wouldn't feel right. Now listen, the entirety of Diablo 2 and the story behind it, all of the lore, it could be easily a 7-hour video, which there's a user by the name of Dark Lord Dash on YouTube that has proved that, okay? 7 hours. When I went into this, it was supposed to be a 20-minute video, so at an hour and a half, I did my best to try to basically share the surface level of the story, show you all the cinematics, and as you could see, I kind of twisted things around a little bit and told it in a slightly different way than what the game shares, and I just did that for fun of being creative. Hey, speaking of long stories, try leveling a solo self-found barbarian to level 50 with double swing and frenzy. If you know, you know. And for those of you that don't, imagine driving across the United States when you could have just taken a plane. Yeah, I drove. Halfway through the video, I was like, man, maybe my favorite was a paladin. I don't know. And yeah, I was trying to get like specific footage through the entire playthrough. So like sometimes I would have to just keep opening a new game every single time I didn't like the way my guy ran or like what mobs were in the area, or maybe a piece of loot dropped on the floor and it was like breaking the immersion. So it was definitely a lot of trial and error just hopping in and out of the game. And I went from basically, oh, I'll just do Act 1 and 2 to essentially soloing Bale and the entire game at the end of it. So, and the funny thing is, after putting in 350 hours of work, I have a new appreciation for content creators who are regularly producing these like deep dive documentaries. It's insane how much work goes into all the transitions, the audio levels, like all of the different stuff, data that you have to go and search and scour the internet for, and then collect it all into these different folders you got to organize. It's ridiculous. So my hat's off to everybody that does this kind of content, because it is insane. It is hard work. Like I said, 12 hours a day, I'm sitting here at the desk killing myself. It's one thing to play the game that you love. It's another thing to dissect it frame by frame, trying to capture its essence. All right, but listen, here's what I want to really say to close this whole thing out, because I said some stuff at the end that I think is like maybe a little controversial, and obviously it's all opinion based. I love action ARPGs. I have no qualms with any of them, and every single ARPG that I've ever played, I've enjoyed my time spent playing them. Like when Diablo 4 came out, man, I was obsessed with just the level of detail and the graphic fidelity and just how dark and gothic that game was, man. It was sick. I loved it. I remember sending my wife text messages and like sending her videos of the game, just zooming into all the details inside of like Lorath's hut when you first meet him in the game. And I was really loving the experience. But once I got to the end game, like most games these days, I feel the cracks start to show. And I think we're just kind of getting older. The industry is evolving and moving at a faster pace. We have a lot more options to choose from. And I think it's kind of unrealistic, unless it's a nostalgia game, that we're going to find a game that we're playing for the rest of our lives, because people want this like endless experience. And I just don't think it's realistic anymore. You know, here and there we get masterpieces along the way. Like Baldur's Gate 3 was, in my opinion, one of the best games I've ever played. I probably won't go back and play it very much based on how that game was and how I played it. I played pretty much the entire thing and saw everything I possibly could because I'm a safe scumbag, but that's another topic. But yeah, towards the end of the video, I sort of kind of hyped up Path of Exile 2 and maybe put it up on a pedestal and said that it's the true successor to Diablo 2. And while, yes, I think that Grinding Gear Games' contribution to the ARPG genre is undoubtedly massive, they've done a lot for the genre, I think that's just one piece of an incredibly rich puzzle, because every ARPG brings something unique to the table. And that's exactly how it should be. We're not necessarily looking for the next Diablo 2 anymore. We're watching the genre evolve in multiple exciting directions. And honestly, just in a few years from now, this video is already not going to be as timeless as it could be, because Path of Exile 2 might not be the big thing anymore. You know, Dragonkin might be a fail, Project Pantheon could be a fail, Titan Quest could be a fail. Any of those games that I showed as, you know, showing the future of what's to come for ARPG genres could ultimately fail, and I hope that they don't. I hope that they're amazing. They all look pretty good and promising in different directions. And, you know, I almost didn't even want to showcase this video with Chapter 4 and 5 and this outro because, well, Chapter 3 obviously is very timeless. I know that that's always going to remain as is, but I also wanted to create something that was a little bit different, you know, adding some discussion to the video and yeah, just mixing things up a little bit. So as for me, I've been saying this since I was like 11 years old, and I started playing Final Fantasy Online, which would have been Final Fantasy 11. I also was playing Diablo 2, and I would hop in between both games with Counter-Strike. And I really want a well-made Diablo MMO, a true MMO, not what they try to say that Diablo 4 was, but I want a proper MMO. I want the movement, the nice, swift, you know, responsive movement of World of Warcraft in a Diablo world MMO. That's what I want. I don't know how they would do it, but man, I will dream and dream and dream until somebody can finally accomplish that. But the one thing that you have to take with that, you gotta make it gothic, man. You gotta make it. I should be able to go into a room and see the bodies. You know what I mean? Like I want to see blood. I want to see gore. That's what that game should be. It should not be princess pony rainbows and shit. Whatever they did in Diablo 3. You know. So that's what I want, man. Who am I? All right. To everybody that stuck it out for the end of this mammoth video, I just want to give you a resounding thank you. Thank you so much for sticking around, watching the entire thing, man. I did have a lot of fun making this video. I learned a lot, and I hope that you guys genuinely enjoyed it as much as I enjoy myself. You've just witnessed what happens when nostalgia meets obsession, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So yeah, man, excuse me, I need to go to bed. because I gotta wake up tomorrow and try to remember what sunlight feels like, because your boy's looking a little Casper-y right now. So, yeah, thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your night, day, future. I don't know. You ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get the fuck out of here. That's what they say, right? Okay, bye.
Gee, this guy really had a thing for sewers, huh?
Tell me about it. Every time I get reassigned, it's always the sewers. Would it kill him to put me somewhere nice?
Oh, my cousin Marrowbones works up in the Arcane Sanctuary. Says the views are spectacular.
Yeah, at least the rent's cheap down here anyway.
Yeah, and the neighbors are dead quiet.
Hey, do you guys hear that?
Don't worry about it. It's probably just Frank and Bob having a little fun.
You say so.
And that's when I told Greg, you're making a great mistake.
Right.
You guys? Oh no, it is Frank and Bob.
I don't think they're having fun though.
Say, gentlemen, could you let me?
Oh. I should have taken that transfer to Act 3.